Welcome to the Smart Reporting to BMC Helix Dashboards workshop. Today's session is roughly going to be around 2 hours long. It's really important that you're aware that there is the Q&A section of Zoom. So if you have any questions during the presentation and the workshop, please put them in there. We will make sure that there's plenty of time at the end to answer the questions live if you have anything further. But we do have a set of panelists today that will be able to answer those questions. So let's get started with the agenda. If we can move to the next slide, Nikhil. So we're going to cover what BMC Helix Dashboards is and the right dashboarding solution for service management. We're going to talk through the best practices of report migration. We're going to go through a product demo. We'll then go to the roadmap, and then we'll have some time for the Q&A section. We will be moving the roadmap session, however, forward with Nikhil when he starts going through the dashboarding solution. Just a reminder as well, I'm hoping everyone's done the training courses. You should have had an email that came out from education. These are really important, these two free training. So if you haven't done those already, please make sure you get those done over the next couple of days. But it was a prerequisite to join the workshop today. And then finally, we're just going to move over to our legal notice. Just a reminder, there is some roadmap slides, therefore just take a few minutes or so to read this. We can't guarantee everything makes it in the product, but we have got a roadmap set of slides that we would like to go through. So with that, I'm now going to hand over to Nikhil for a formal introduction and to get us started. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thank you, Sam. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever in the world you're joining this workshop. I'm Nikhil Deshpande. I am a principal product manager. I'm the product manager for Helix Dashboards here at BMC, and I'm excited to be here today to present this workshop to you on how to make this transition from smart reporting to Helix Dashboards. I'm joined by my co-presenters, Abhinay and Kshitija. So let's start with service ops. For far too long, within IT organizations, there have existed roughly two functional units, IT service management and IT operations management. Service management deals with service desk, incident, problems, changes, knowledge management, and so on, whereas IT operations management deals with events, metrics, capacity management, all of that. However, these two organizational units have worked as two separate units, and the walls between these two are not conducive for IT organizations to realize their goals. It's not time to bring them together, but to do that, you need to provide them the necessary tools and technologies so that both of these can work together as one cohesive unit. Service ops is BMC's strategy that does exactly that. Through our broad range of solutions across service management and IT operations management, we make it easier, much easier for you to bring these two together and be able to deliver outcomes in one domain based on the processes in the other. This is not just about IT service management. Let's be clear, although service management principles and practices started in IT, in recent years, these have expanded to other lines of business. Today, anyone who's not any function in a company that's not in the business of serving external customers is in the business of serving internal customers. So think of functions like HR, facilities, or any other team that serves internal customers. They are being held to the same standards of service, the same service levels of customer satisfaction and others, just like IT function is. And we need to give these functions also the necessary tools and technologies to be able to meet and exceed their customer expectations. Ultimately, all these support functions need to enable their business to compete better in the marketplace with other established enterprises and nimble startups. In recent times, we have seen that IT application development, software application development has moved out of the four walls of IT. Today, there are application development teams in the business, and this DevOps culture is growing in most companies. Service ops makes it easier for your IT function to align with this DevOps movement and facilitate the growth of DevOps in your organization. So that brings us to BMC Helix dashboards. BMC Helix dashboards is our dashboarding solution that's an integral part of our service ops strategy. Built on Grafana, it allows you to consume information in an action-oriented way. In service management and operations management, business managers are looking for insights. They're looking for insights into their business processes. These could be in the service management world, typically incidents, problems, changes, knowledge, and so on, or in the operations management world, events, metrics, capacity. Ultimately, all business managers, all IT managers need to be able to deliver outcomes expected of the IT function. And that's why it's necessary for them to have a dashboarding tool that allows them to consume information the way they want it and help them make tactical and strategic decisions. Although we use Grafana as the core platform for our dashboards, for BMC Helix dashboards, we have developed key IP that allows us to extend the capabilities of Grafana. So this isn't just Grafana that's rebranded as Helix dashboards. It is Grafana plus a lot other value-added features that you will not find in Grafana open source or Grafana out of the box. The extensions that we have designed are mainly in areas like reporting, scheduling, exporting, and distribution. We have developed an extensive set of out-of-the-box dashboards that you can use right away. The moment you start using dashboards, you can take advantage of the dashboards that we ship out of the box so that you can get started right away and understand what's possible with dashboards. The best thing about dashboards is that unlike other reporting tools, especially smart reporting, Helix dashboards works with all BMC Helix solutions across service management and operations management. So let's look at why Helix dashboards is the right solution for you. With Helix dashboards, this is one common reporting solution that you can use across all BMC Helix products. Smart reporting can be used only for specific tools, typically just ITSM or true site operations management. But we see that service ops is not just ITSM or not just operations management. You need a tool with which you can create and deliver dashboards across the entire spectrum of BMC Helix solutions. And dashboards is the only dashboarding tool that can enable you to do that. Remember what I said in service ops. You should be able to drive outcomes in one domain based on actions taken in another domain. So this is about IT operations management and service management. Helix dashboards allows you to do that. Smart reporting does not. We've got several out-of-the-box dashboard definitions that you can use straight away, or you can even choose to customize them and tweak them to your own needs, because we often see customers extend their implementation of ITSM with custom forms, fields. You can customize our out-of-the-box dashboards to your specific needs. These are all the solutions that BMC Helix dashboards works with. Practically everything in service management, So not just ITSM and digital workplace and business workflows, but also if you've developed any custom applications using Innovation Suite, you can design or you can develop dashboards on your custom apps as well. On the operations management side, pretty much all our ITOM solutions, discovery, operations management, capacity, log analytics, security, and so on. Let's look at a few sample out-of-the-box dashboards we ship. This one is an overview of the service catalog of a digital workplace. You can see a broad range of panels on this one dashboard. You can see there are some stat cards at the top, number of service requests, how many of those are active, how many are waiting approvals, and so on. Then we show some trends in terms of daily submissions, daily fulfillments. We can see a distribution of service requests across different categories, across different business services. One of the responsibilities of the service desk management team is to plan, is workforce planning, is to plan how they staff their shifts and different support groups, different business services. This dashboard can help you determine what's the workload for serving different business services. This is a service dashboard that pulls data across service management and operations management. So you can see it has got some panels that show you the health score, situations, availability. These come from IT operations management. Likewise, you'll see incidents, open service requests. All of these come from service management. And then there's one timeline at the center that shows you health score, events, and incidents. This is where you can correlate incidents with uh, service health score or events coming from your ITOM solution. And this is exactly where dashboards contributes to the service ops story. BMCLX dashboards is delivered with several features that will help you to drive action among the consumers of your information. We have got a broad range of visualizations that will enable you to build dashboards to communicate data better. The difference between data and information is that information is about communicating data in a way that inspires the consumers of that information with action. With a broad range of visualizations, we do that. We've got several Grafana plugins, Grafana visualizations, table, bar chart, combination chart, and so on. We also have our BMC visualizations, all visualizations that are prefixed with BMC, BMC record details, BMC bar chart, BMC table, and so on. These are all custom developed by BMC based on feedback that we have received from our customers. We're increasingly seeing that dashboards is a solution that helps you quickly get up to speed. Your existing report developers, business intelligence analysts can quickly learn Grafana or Helix dashboards and get up to speed with building dashboards. There's a short learning curve. We also see that if you want to hire external resources, you readily find Grafana skilled resources in the job market today. And the best thing about dashboards is once your these resources or these people or developers are skilled with dashboards, you can use these skills across all BMC Helix solutions. Now let's turn our attention to a few dashboards that BMC's IT function has developed. BMC IT takes advantage of BMC solutions, including BMC Helix dashboards. They use almost all of the products in the BMC Helix portfolio. Certainly ITSM, Discovery, BMC Helix Operations Management, and so on. So this one is a CIO dashboard that's used by the CIO as well as other senior IT leaders, where we show all information that's critical for IT leaders to keep a watch on what's going on in IT. How do we align well with the key metrics that IT is measured against? So it shows you open events, major events, minor events, the business services and technical services that are deployed. It shows your distribution of your business services, of outages across business services, across technical services. You'll see even metrics around your IT estate, how many virtual machines, how many hosts, how many databases, and so on. So everything that IT managers, IT leaders would want to know is covered in this CIO dashboard. Yes, Kshitija, would you like to interject or add something here?
Sorry for that. It was by mistake.
Okay, no worries. Then here's a VMware vCenter overview dashboard. If you use VMware for managing virtual machines, then you may find this dashboard useful. It shows you, excuse me, the availability of your vCenter, vCluster, how many clusters you have. It also shows you an overall status of various clusters. It shows you the CPU utilization of your top clusters and so on. Gauges are another visualizations that can help you display data on a continuum that goes from 0 to 100, typically percentages. Anything that's on a 0 to 100 percentage scale, gauges are a good way of displaying that data. So availability is something that you can show on a scale of 0 to 100. Normally, you would expect availability to be 100% or close to 100%. But what exactly is the availability of different business services? You can use this dashboard to see just that. This is an incident aging analysis dashboard. All service desk managers are measured against SLMs and open incidents. And one of the well-known facts is that if you need to measure your MTTR, if you need to measure yourselves against goals of MTTR or SLA achievement, then you need to reduce your work in progress. You need to make sure that your service desk teams, your service desk agents close their incidents in time. This dashboard gives you a broad overview of what's going on in the service desk, how many open incidents in different buckets, 7 to 14 days, 14 to 30 days, beyond 30 days, and so on. And then you can further slice and dice across assigned groups, across, you can also see how many incidents are being reassigned. Oftentimes, if the reassignment count is high, it can indicate that there isn't sufficient ownership of certain tickets, and that can throw some areas of improvement. Some continual service improvement initiatives can be launched to address any issues that are there around ownership. This one is a crosstab report. Crosstab report is a good way if you want to show measure across two dimensions. So here you can see age of incidents and priority across these two dimensions. You can display data in a table across these two dimensions, and it can quickly draw your attention to some areas that may not be good for anyone. Let's now move to the product roadmap. Our most the innovation in Helix dashboards that we are most proud of in the past few months, in fact, all of calendar year 2024, is Visual Query Builder. This is a drag and drop report designer that allows anyone without technical skills to develop reports. Increasingly, we are seeing across our customers that many companies want not just their developers to develop reports, but they may have business analysts or BI analysts who may have limited or little knowledge of SQL, but these people have skills of displaying reports or creating reports with stunning visualizations. So these people have skills in creating reports with different ways of visualizing that data, but their focus is not necessarily SQL. How do you empower these people to develop reports without having to get up to speed with learning SQL? You can do that with Visual Query Builder. With Visual Query Builder, they can simply drag and drop fields onto the dashboard canvas. These can be the fields or columns that you want to display in your reports. These can also be your filter conditions. Not just conditions, you can also apply functions on these conditions. Oftentimes, you may want to apply functions on certain functions, date functions, filter by date functions, string functions, and so on. Visual Query Builder allows you just to do that. And when you drag and drop this, it automatically generates a SQL on the fly. The next stage of Visual Query Builder is Reporting Metadata Studio. This is a developer tool that allows your report admins or your developers to extend the metadata views that we ship out of the box. Why would they need to do that? To accommodate any custom forms or custom fields that you have created in ITSM. If you have developed any custom apps using Innovation Studio, then also you can use this tool to create your metadata views. A recent feature in Metadata Studio is the ability to add global constraints. A global constraint allows you to apply a filter on the metadata view without relying on the report editor to define that condition. And this is a good way of enforcing certain conditions to enforce some sort of discipline or some consistency on how reports are developed in an efficient way that run efficiently and quickly give you the data that your consumers want. These are some incremental improvements in Visual Query Builder. We have continually improved from the first release in 24.2. We have done a few improvements in terms of logical operators that we have added, not in between date string functions. So if you want to remove the leading spaces or trailing spaces, in SQL, you would use functions like ltrim, rtrim. Now you can use these functions in Visual Query Builder. You can also use several date and time functions. All of these are documented on our product documentation portal, so I don't need to get into the details here. Again, similarly, additional filters or filter operators that we have added in Visual Query Builder. Role-based access control is another recent feature that allows your admin to create custom roles. So now you're no longer limited to those 3 roles that we ship out of the box: admin, editor, viewer. You can now create your own custom roles, and your admin can grant permissions to those custom roles. And once they have done that, they can add people to those roles. So you can, depending on the nature of or maturity of your user base, you can create custom roles and add people to these roles. So some of the things that you can do with role-based access control is you can restrict access to specific folders to specific roles, or you can allow only specific roles to download reports. Or if you want if you want certain users, maybe novice users, if you want to force them to build reports only using Visual Query Builder, you don't want to allow them to write SQL, you can do that. You can create a custom role that only allows reports to build reports using VQB. So all of this, and there are several other immense possibilities with role-based access control. We have done several incremental improvements to exporting reports, especially PDF enhancements. So when you export a report, it no longer just takes a screenshot, especially if in some panel, if uh, if it requires scrolling, you can do that scrolling. You can scroll through that panel when you're viewing the report on screen. But now, when you export that dashboard to PDF, it automatically scrolls and brings and exports all the data in that panel. There are several minor formatting improvements also in some of our plugins, tables, and so on. Branding, we've added support for branding. And all these improvements apply not just to the dashboards, they also apply to exporting data from panels. But these are some recent dashboards that we shipped out of the box, especially in AIOps. There's an anomalies overview, anomalies by service, and a univariate anomalies by device. All of these are explained in great detail in our product documentation. On our roadmap, we have got several formatting improvements, the ability to handle word wrap on certain visualizations, handle the carriage return. Sometimes in long text fields, you may have data that's where there's a carriage return, meaning a new paragraph. Uh, we are looking at how we can improve the formatting so that all the formatting that's there in the data in these fields is retained when you export to PDF. Another roadmap item is the ability to schedule reports by email. That is, now there are several ways of scheduling reports. You can export to a PDF or Excel. You can also schedule and you can deliver on FTP. You can deliver reports to an FTP server. You can also deliver reports to recipients by specifying their email addresses, and they'll receive the report in the body of their email. If your report has links, they'll be able to click on those links and open those records in ITSM or whichever application it relates to. We've got use cases for managed service providers in ITSM. So all ITSM MSPs will be able to use Helix dashboards across multiple domains. So if you've got multiple domains across your tenants, then you'll be able to use dashboards with different authentication for different companies. Also on our roadmap is MSP support for BMC's ITOM products, especially BMC Helix Operations Management, wherein will allow you to, as an MSP administrator, you'll be able to build a dashboard that has got multiple panels for multiple customers. So you'll have access to, as a tenant zero admin, you'll have access to all of that data, but all the members of specific companies, specific tenants will only have access to their own data. So without compromising on data security, we allow you to see all that data and allow the respective client tenants to view just their own data. Will allow you to take backups of dashboards, meaning dashboard definitions. This can help you protect against any accidental deletion of dashboards. So if you want to restore them from a backup, you can do that. So we are planning to take backups of dashboards as well as schedules. Also metadata views that are used by Visual Query Builder. We're also looking at the possibility of automating backups at regular intervals. You'll be able to back up manually. You'll also be able to set up an automatic schedule to back up your dashboards at regular intervals. Audit trail. Audit trail is about logging every activity that happens in dashboards. Who created a dashboard, who last modified it, who deleted it. All these things can be useful especially if something untoward happens and you want to you want to trace what happened, then you can look at the audit trail. We have got several scheduling improvements. Conditional scheduling is about scheduling a dashboard subject to the fulfillment of specific conditions. For example, if a dashboard, you want to schedule it and distribute it to many users, but you want to distribute it only if that dashboard has data. For example, if it's a weekly report and in some weeks, there may not be any data in that dashboard. It's a blank report. In that case, you don't want to send a scheduled report with a blank attachment to your IT staff. That's conditional scheduling. Then there's dynamic recipient scheduling, wherein the list of recipients is not statically defined in the dashboard, but rather it's dynamic. The list of recipients is determined from another panel in that dashboard. So there are immense possibilities with how you can use these features. We also have requests from some customers to allow users with necessary permissions to be able to view the schedules of others so that people don't accidentally create multiple schedules for the same dashboard. We are also looking at the ability to allow sending dashboards to teams rather than having to specify individuals. You'll be able to send a dashboard to a team, which is a group of users. Also, the ability to inactivate or deactivate an inactive user schedules. Typically, when a user leaves the company, your admin may want to disable all their schedule. You'll be able to do that. So several improvements that we are sure you'll benefit from. We continually deliver new dashboard content, that is out-of-the-box dashboards across various areas, ITSM. We have delivered several recently. So the ones that are highlighted in blue here are incident agent, problem agent, change agent. These have already been delivered in a recent release. And the other ones, problem age, backlog analysis, a few in CMDB and TWP. And we have got several in discovery and operations management. These are all on the roadmap, in the short-term roadmap. Usage statistics, you'll be able to get insights about your usage of dashboards. Which dashboards are used the most? Which ones are used the least? Which visualizations are used most often? Who are your top users? Who are your power users? Which users don't use? So you'll have insights about schedules, which schedules are failing. So usage statistics help you measure your usage of dashboard so that you can take corrective action and you can then decide how you want to grow the adoption of dashboards. Slightly longer term is the ability, we plan to introduce the ability to embed dashboard widgets in application console. So within ITSM or business workflows, you'll be able to embed dashboard widgets, and you can, though without having to come to dashboards, users will be able to run dashboards. BMC Marketplace, you'll be able to upload your dashboard definitions to Marketplace if you want to share it with others. You don't share your report output, the result set. You don't share your data, but you can share your dashboard definition. This can especially be useful for partners if you want to showcase your capabilities to other customers. You can do that. And you can also download dashboard definitions from the marketplace. So you can browse the marketplace and download any report definitions that you feel you will benefit from. With that, we come to the end of the first part of this workshop. If you have any questions, feel free to post your questions through Q&A. Meanwhile, I'm now going to hand off to Abhinay to take us through the next stage of this workshop. Over to you, Abhinay.
Thank you, Nikhil. I am sharing my screen. Sam, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, it's come up. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, hello everyone. I'm Abhinay. I'm a practice manager with consulting services at PMC. I also drive a center of excellence for Helix Dashboard for professional services. Now, we have heard Nikhil talk about why Helix Dashboard is the right fit for all your reporting needs, dashboarding needs. Now, let's talk about how we can make this transition from smart reporting to Helix Dashboard. This is equally valid for any other reporting solution that you might be using, and if you want to transition over to Helix Dashboard. So here is a 5-phase framework that we recommend based on um, our uh, our experience working with many of our customers who have taken this journey. So based on the best practices, this is how we advise that the migration should be planned. So here the 5 phases, starting with prepare, which is where all of us are right now. So all of you who are attending, you're going through different awareness sessions like this one. You have attended or gone through a few of the trainings. You've done few prerequisite trainings for this webinar, and there are a few other trainings which will help you prepare. The next comes is planning phase. This is where we want to get a better understanding of how the current reporting solution is being used. So talking about smart reporting usage assessment, how various different type of object types are being used, so the quantity, the complexity, and all of it. Based on that, we identify what are our top priority reports, and then analyze them and create a plan for each one of them. What is the migration plan for each of them? Next comes migrate and validate, and the two will go hand in hand. So you convert your reports, but then do they make sense for your end users? So once they validate, the consumers of the report are good with the report, that can be transitioned over to the production, so go live. And if you have some other team, external team working with you, then this is also followed by post go live support as well as a knowledge transfer. Now, I have mentioned PMC PS on this slide and few other slides, but feel free to replace that with whoever is doing the actual migration. It could be PMC professional services, or it could be a partner, or it could be your own team. So let's talk about the first key step in the assessment, in the planning phase, which is assessment. So here we want to understand how the current platform is, and how it will translate to the target platform, Helix Dashboard, and what are different usage statistics of all of these object types. Now, the first thing you would notice is uh, on smart reporting side, you had all these different object types. So you had different reports like uh, single visualization reports, multiple visualization reports, core display reports, which basically have embedded reports in them. And then you have something called dashboard, which also had linked uh, reports in it. But if you compare that with Helix Dashboard, everything is a dashboard on Helix Dashboard. It can have one or more panels on it. So based on what you have on the smart reporting side, you would get either a dashboard which has just one panel. It can be tabular or a visualization, or you can have multiple panels. So um, uh, uh, now you would also see some of these features are supported by the conversion utility, the migration tool, and some of them are not. For visualizations, you will see this is a conditional support, and we'll see more in the next slide. There are a few other object types like broadcast, which are called schedules on Helix Dashboard, then report linkings, drill down, drill through kind of relationships. So all of these will have the most impact on the time and effort for this migration. So there are other differences and similarities in the platform, but we are only talking about these because they have the most these parameters will have the most impact on this migration. Now, here's the mapping of different visualization types in the two platform. And I would always recommend to go and look at the latest one available on BMC Docs, because with every new release, you might be getting some new visualizations, which might be a better translation. But you would see most of the commonly used visualization have something very similar on Helix dashboard. So, for example, on smart reporting, and you had different type of bar charts, horizontal bar chart, 3D bar charts, vertical bar charts, stacked, and so on. On Helix dashboard, they are just simply called bar charts, and then you configure them how they show up, the look and feel of it. But you'll also notice there are few visualizations which don't have anything similar or corresponding on Helix dashboard. For example, thermometer. So there's nothing similar on the Helix dashboard side. So if you have some of these visualizations in use, then as part of the migration, we also need to identify what would be the appropriate visualization for the data that you are trying to represent. So now let's sum it all. For assessment, these are the 5 important aspects that we need to understand. And when I say need to understand, we need to know the quantity of them. Number of reports, of course, is not number one, the volume, total volume that we are looking for up on. And next we have what type of reports are we talking about? Are they standalone? Are they co-display? What kind of visualizations are they using? Are those visualizations supported, unsupported, and so on? The next is complexity of report. And this will depend on what kind of report we are talking about. So if you have a co-display report, a contributing factor to complexity is how many child reports you have. More child reports you have, more complex the conversion is. The other factors that affect the complexity are calculated fields, how many advanced DB functions are you using, and so on. Next, we need to understand how frequently that report is being used and when was it last used. So this will give you an idea about how important that report is. So, and we'll talk a little more about this when we come to lessons learned from other migrations. So it's very important that we know out of all the reports that we have, what are the reports that are important to us and how are we going to prioritize them? And this is something that will help us do that. The next is some of the other features. So dashboards, broadcasts, report linking. Now, how do we do this assessment? So on the right side of the screen, you'll see few SQL queries are listed here. I have taken this from BMC documentation. So again, go and take a look at the latest documentation. The SQL queries will give you details on specific parameter. You can see few of them listed in the screenshot, but there are many, many more. And you can get data on many different aspects of your usage. All right, so here is a sample report based on those assessment queries. And this one is something that PS creates when we are working with a customer. These are slightly tweaked queries, but they are all based on the same queries that I talked about in the previous slide. Now, as you can see, these are the same parameters that we discussed in the previous slide, that all of those data points that we want to understand. So frequency of the report being accessed in last X number of days. This assessment is looking at only last 90 days. But depending on your organization, you may want to look at a different number of days. It could be last 30 days, 45 days, 120 days. 180 days. So depending on how far back you want to look in the past to understand the usage, you would this would be tweaked. The next is whether the report was public or private, and this again we'll touch upon later in the presentation why this is important. Then we have visualizations, what type of visualization it is. Again, like I talked about it in the previous slide, it gives an indication of what visualization need to be retouched. Then we have next 4 columns giving different counts, which will tell you the complexity of that report. So calculated fields, database functions, uh, report link relationships, co-display report relationships. And finally, we have dashboard, if this report is part of any specific dashboard, and broadcast. All right, now let's put it all together and see how a sample strategy might look like. Now, this is a sample strategy. It has to be tweaked for individual organizations. And so here are the same 5 phases that we talked about. And sorry, that was my daughter. Not sure if she was showing up in the video. So here are the same 5 phases that we talked about earlier in the presentation: prepare, plan, migrate, validate, and finally transition. We talked about the awareness sessions. We talked about the assessment. Next, what we do is filter and prioritize. So this is the first thing that we need to do before we do our detailed planning. And this is where the last 90-day or X number of days execution will come into play. So now you know what reports are really being used and what reports are not being used. So we can filter those out. We can prioritize the reports based on how frequently the report is being used, among other factors. So you may have a few other reports which were not used but are still high priority. Once we have a set of high priority reports, we can go ahead and start planning our phases. Now, what we recommend is based on our experience working with other customers that we divide the entire list of reports in different phases, starting with a pilot phase, which includes the most high priority reports for you. And what this allows you to do is do a deeper analysis for those high priority reports. And later in the migration, end users can validate them much more closely, much more carefully. So once we have defined what reports we are going to migrate in this pilot phase, the next step is to do a deeper analysis of those reports. And when we are doing this analysis, we are basically trying to figure out a migration plan for each of those reports, whether we want to convert them, move the SQL query as is. Now, this could be either using the tool or manually. Next is recreate. So the recreation means you don't want to move the report as is, you want to recreate it from scratch. And that could be either using the visual query builder or using the SQL builder, SQL panel. Now, the last third option is reuse. So Nikhil talked about a lot of out-of-box dashboards which are shipped with the product, and many of them might serve the purpose better than what you already had in smart reporting. So rather than migrating it, why not reuse something that's already available to you in the new platform? You can also reuse some of the content from our communities and marketplace. Now, once we are done with this planning, we can move on to the actual migration. And obvious step is in general. Now, again, this would vary based on the customers to use the conversion tool, the automated conversion for a limited set of reports and see what reports are migrated, and if they are not, then of course you need to recreate them manually. And that could again be either reusing the SQL as is or rebuilding the report using Visual Query Builder. Finally, once the migration team is done with the report, they've done their gap analysis, they have fixed the gaps as compared to the source reports, the reports can be moved to a user acceptance review. So end users take a look at the reports, they see whether the reports make sense to them or not. If not, then the feedback is passed back to the migration team. And if everything goes well, they can be moved to the production, so go live. And like I mentioned, if you are working with an external team, BMCPS or a partner, then this will also followed by a knowledge transfer, how the migration was done, what were some of the tricky points which we need to document for later phases, and that concludes the pilot phase. And next phases can be taken up for next set of priority reports. All right, so let's see, based on our experience with other customers, what are some of the common themes that we have seen across and something that we can learn from. So number one is report sprawl. Over a period of time, we have seen across the board customers accumulate a lot of reports, and many of those reports are not really in use. Most of the organizations don't have a governance structure in place for approving what report should go in and what should not. And over a period of time, a lot of users are creating these reports and they build up really in big numbers. How many reports are not being used? That number varies a lot. But what we have seen is it can be upward of 50%. I have seen it go as high as 90%. So 90% of reports are not in use, only 10% are in use. So again, this highlights why the assessment is really important, and looking at cutoff date for how far back you want to look back and see how frequently the report is being used, and when was the last time it was used. There are many reasons why this could happen, and most common reason that we have seen is reports were created one time use. They were looked at, they were not used anytime later. Another common reason is either owner changing or owner moving out, organization changes, and now nobody's looking at those reports. They're basically just lying there. And this especially becomes important if the report is marked private. So then you know that nobody else was really looking into it and owner is moved. So that report is just lying in there. The next one is redundancy of reports. So what I mean there is there something existing that can replace your report or serve a better purpose than what you had in there? And this is where this is basically the reuse bit that I talked about in the previous slide. So you have your out-of-box reports, you have community content, you have marketplace. So you can look at all these options and see if some of them make more sense to use rather than migrating what you already had in the legacy tool. Finally, in terms of redundancy, you can also look at the new consoles that are available. So there is a new shared ticket console, and there is a new asset console available, which allows you to list that data in a tabular format. You can save the presets. You can export this data. So for many simple tabular reports, these can be a good substitute. So rather than migrating something which can be simply substituted by one of these, I would highly recommend you take a look at these consoles and see if this makes sense. And finally, the last lesson learned, I would say, is planning the phases in a tight scope manner. So if we're talking about small iterations, small sprints, um, whatever terminology you may use in your organization, this may be termed differently, but essentially we want to look at small set of reports, plan them better, validate them better, and then move them. Uh, and it's very tempting to run the conversion utility for a large number of report, but then again, you will face that bottleneck when you want to validate all of them. So the end users will need to be should be more careful with the top priority reports, and that's where uh, doing a small uh, bite-size phase planning helps. You can focus more on your priority reports. Here are a few customers, each of them very different, and this is just to give you an idea that um, every organization is different and how we have tackled all of these in the past. The first one that you see is a large government department. They had very complex reports, a lot of code displays, a lot of embedded reports, very large reports, and based on our analysis, it was decided that we'll do the conversion in multiple phases rather than um, taking them as is. We recommended redesigning those reports, creating them from scratch for two main reasons. One, to simplify the complexity, and two, to increase the performance. So when we redesign the reports, that allows us to take a relook at how the SQL queries are working. Can we increase the performance, and can it be broken down? The report, can it be broken down into much more manageable, meaningful chunks? So they started with 5,200 reports, but then after the analysis assessment, it came down to 95 priority reports. And these were migrated over 10-day sprints. Every sprint, a certain number of reports were picked up for conversion, and the number would depend on the complexity, but roughly 7 to 8 reports. As with an agile approach, you can imagine, so UAT was going in parallel. And after these priority reports, we have handed the rest migration to our partner. The next one you see here is a retail giant based in North America. They are a classic example of report sprawl. So they started with a huge number of reports, 11,000 plus. And once we did the assessment, the first this number came down to around 6,000 reports. So again, the 6,000 were only used for the automated conversion. For the validation, the priority reports that I was speaking of, so this number was around 381. So BMCPS helped them with these reports, priority reports, and the customer is going to do the rest. So we have helped them how they can do the rest of the migration. The next one is a large e-commerce player. They show how there are different ways you can look at the starting point. So instead of going report first, they went dashboard first. So they had few priority dashboard. Instead of looking at the priority reports, they picked up the priority dashboards and all the child reports that would come with them. So at the end, it was 2 priority dashboard with 57 reports overall, roughly 40 reports linked to the dashboards, and further few more reports as linked reports to those reports. So 57 overall. Uh, this was also done in a highly agile way, weekly conversion iterations, and every week there was a mini go live. So uh, every organization is different, and you may be structured very differently than all three, and you may be different, but this is just to give you an idea. what are the common themes, and what are the differences. I'll not spend a lot of time here. Kshitija will be taking us through a demo later on, but just want to quickly highlight this is another way to rebuild the report when you don't want to move as is. So one option is to take the SQL query as is, either using the tool or manually copying it. Other way is to use Visual Query Builder. And this is the recommended way going forward. And if you use SQL approach, then you won't be able to use VQB for modifying it in future. So it's recommended if you plan to use Visual Query Builder more, then it's better to recreate using Visual Query Builder during migration itself. Metadata Studio, again, Kshitija will cover in more detail. This is something that extends the functionality and helps you create more views. Let's quickly go through some of the resources that can help you through this journey. The number one stop for you should be the dashboard documentation. Whatever I've covered, most of the information you would be able to find in the documentation. I have put the links in the relevant slides. Next, you have all the education courses from BMC Academy. You might have taken a couple during the prerequisite for this webinar. There are a few more available, right from the basic overview training up to administrator coursework. Next is BMC communities. So I've talked about community contributed content. So you see these few dashboards listed at the bottom right of the slide. So there are many more, and if any of these are useful to you, you can simply download and reuse these dashboard definitions. You can also use communities to raise ideas, which are enhancement requests, and other users can also vote on them. You can also use communities for posting your questions, and other users and even BMC teams will help answer that. Finally, if you need help from BMC to help you do the migration, you can reach out to your CSMs, and they can engage BMC professional services. So there are two catalog items which are related to this. The first offering on the left is more specific to smart reporting to Helix dashboard migration, and it's structured with in such a way that it starts with a workshop where an architect helps you do the assessment analysis, and then followed by the actual conversion by an expert. Finally, a knowledge transfer on how this was done. The one on the right side, it's more tuned if you want to recreate. If you want to recreate the reports from scratch. So these would include migrations from other reporting tools other than smart reporting to Helix dashboard, and also if you are starting from scratch. This is also structured very similarly to the first one that we talked about. With that, I'll hand it over to Kshitija.
Myself, Kshitija Marathi. I'm part of Helix Dashboard's R&D team. And today I'm going to present about Visual Query Builder, which is a very promising feature of Helix Dashboards. And so what do you mean by Visual Query Builder? So it is nothing but a way to be able to generate a query on the fly without having a good knowledge on how to write SQL. It's just a drag drop UI interface through which you will be able to select the required columns, and you will be able to filter out based on certain criteria, and the query will be generated on the fly for you. So how it works basically, it is basically you will need metadata layer that will so that you'll be able to hide all the database or schema complexities. So if you look at on the right hand side, this is the source data, and here I have created a metadata layer, and Visual Query Builder will be able to consume that metadata layer and will be able to generate a query. So we have already, we are shipping out of the box. There are 13 metadata views available for different ITSM modules like incident change, problem management. And with that, by consuming those metadata views, you will be able to use this drag and drop query builder UI, and you will be able to generate a query on the fly. So this is just a flow which I'm showing it to you. This is a BMC Helix data source, and between Visual Query Builder and BMC Helix data source, we have a reporting metadata view layer, which we will build. So there are pre-built views which are available, which also can be used, or customer, if interested, can create their own custom metadata views and consume that into the Visual Query Builder. And Visual Query Builder is available in the Helix Dashboards UI, and through which you will be able to generate query on the fly. So without wasting time, I will just start actual demo. So here we are on to the Helix portal. I have logged into Helix portal, and I'll click on Helix dashboards, and this Helix dashboard homepage will appear. And now what I'll show you, I'll just start creating new dashboard, and I'll add one visualization here. So this Visual Query Builder is meant for service management type of a query only. And here you will see I have selected query type as service management and type as form. So by default form is selected, but if you look at, we have different options available like form, SQL, Visual Query Builder. So what is difference? I can just tell you quickly. Form is a guided flow through which you need to select the form name from a huge list of remedy forms. Then once you select a form, then you have to select related column which is needed. Then you have to define join criteria, etc. So for this, you need to have a good understanding of remedy or AR system schema. Then for second one, which is a direct SQL, you need to know the schema, as well as you need to be aware of how to write SQL with following certain constructs. But here, if you choose for the third option, which we have introduced, which is Visual Query Builder, here you will see on the left top, there are different metadata views listed. So this list is having out-of-the-box metadata views, which are 13 out-of-the-box views we are shipping as out-of-the-box. And the other views which are created as a custom views, those will appear here in the list of views. So I've selected incident management, and you can see on the left-hand side, we have certain categories appearing. And if you expand any category, then you will see relevant fields will appear under that category. So incident details will have incident core fields. Then there are operational categorizations, product categorizations. All the incident related fields are available, and they are under certain categories so that a reporting designer will be able to find it easily. Even from here as well, you can directly search for, say, priority, and it will appear. And we are following certain convention, or there are icons to identify the different type of a field. So here is a box icon for dimension type of a field. Then you have enum type of field or selection type of fields with this icon. Then we have numeric type of fields with circular icon. And there are some calculated fields as well at the end. Wherein you will see the calculator icon. So with that, you will be easily able to identify these fields. Now, just to begin with, I'll take one simple example, which is incident number and priority. And here, if I click on ellipsis, I will see different options available. Like for incident number, if I want to apply certain aggregation, then that I can do. Then order by is available. And there are certain string functions available, which we have supported here. So right now I'm choosing count as aggregation, as I want to look at the count of incidents grouped based on the priority. So I will just hit preview on the top, and here you'll be able to see the result quickly. And if you click on SQL, here you will be able to see what query is generated on the fly. Also in the filter section, I can add filters as well. So I'll just add priority filter. Say, for example, I want to just look for the high priority incidents. Then I will just select, or I will type in only high priority, and you will see only high priorities are coming up. And here where clause got added in the generated query. So from here, you will not be able to modify the query. You will be able to only view or copy the query. In case you want to modify the query, then you will have to switch from Visual Query Builder type to the SQL type, and then you will be able to do that. And if you make any changes in the SQL, then and you want to come back here again in the Visual Query Builder, then that may have certain gaps in the query, as Visual Query Builder relates everything based on the metadata view. So it refers to the metadata view, the whatever object relationships we have defined in that view, and generates the query based on that. So in case you find anything such requirement to go from Visual Query Builder to SQL, then you can continue using SQL after that, and there will not be any issues. But you will not be able to come back to Visual Query Builder again in order to avoid the upcoming issues. So yeah, so once I'm done with this building a query, I can use query, and I can see here the same result appeared on the panel. And when I apply, this gets applied. Now, what I'll do, I'll go to the dashboard settings. I will add one variable called priority. And here, so here as well, BMC Helix data source is selected. Then you will see enable query editor. This is the option. You can select that option, and you will find query builder, and similar UI will appear for variable query generation as well. So here I want to just pull the priority. So I just dragged and dropped the priority column. I'll hit preview. All the possible values appeared. I'll use this query and I can apply. And so see the difference when you try to define variable query and write a query by writing a direct SQL, then you'll find the difference, how it is easy with the help of Visual Query Builder than writing a query by hand. So I'll just save this dashboard. As I have clicked that other query 0 is appearing, we can ignore it for now. But you can see priority variable got created with the possible values. And now if I want to just apply visualization for this, then that also I can show it to you. Now here I have hard-coded priority equal to high. So in case I want to pass it at runtime, then I'll choose here in operator, as I can pass multiple as well in case required. And here, instead of having a direct a hard-coded value, I will type $ and I'll see template priority, which is a variable which I've created. I'll pass this. And once I pass this, you will see critical priority incidents as critical is selected here. And now if further, if you want to go for some visualization, which is pie chart maybe, and here you'll be able to see. I'll select numeric field, and right now I have selected only critical priority incidents. That way it will appear. Okay, yeah, so this critical values are incidents with critical priority are appearing over here. And if I select anything, any other priority, then that way it is appearing. So I'll save this dashboard and I'll quickly go to the other panel, add visualization, and here if you look at, I will this time choose incident number, assign group, and priority maybe. And I'll aggregate again. I'll hit preview. I'll use this query. And this time I'll choose crosstab visualization. And on the right-hand side, pivot categories, I will just drag and drop. So incident number is a count field that I'll put, then assign group, and priority I'll put it under column field. And you will see in very less time, I could able to generate this crosstab with the help of Visual Query Builder. And there are some other features in Visual Query Builder which I would like to show. So if you take any for example, you take any numeric field, and here you will see under aggregates, you will see different list. As this is a numeric type of a field, I can have average, count, sum, mean, max. These additional aggregation options are also available. So this aggregation and functions list differ based on what type of field you are choosing. Then one more I want to just cover here, which is here calculated fields. So we have predefined calculated fields available here. And this we have defined whenever we created incident management metadata view. So if I just drag and drop this resolve incidents directly, and there are 0 resolved, but if you look at the query generated, it is having the formula which we have defined in the metadata layer. And that way you are easily able to use these predefined calculated fields. So I'll just use this query as well. And maybe we can have stat visualization here. And it will show based. So with all these, I will just quickly go to the second part of the presentation, which is about how to define custom metadata view. So now we have just looked at how to consume the metadata views and generate the query using Visual Query Builder. But the first step is to define metadata view and publish these metadata views so that Visual Query Builder will be able to use that. So I just want to take you to the, yeah. So under Administration General, we have Reporting Metadata Studio link available. And here on the right top corner, we can see download option. So Reporting Metadata Studio is a tool. It's a standalone tool which lets you, or which enables you to create or modify the views. And those views, you will be able to consume it in the Visual Query Builder. And here you will see the environment details, which you can copy from here, and you can make use of it while configuring the environment.properties and profile.properties for Metadata Studio. So there are 2 properties files which you have to fill in. It's a one-time configuration which you have to do before you start actually using Reporting Metadata Studio. So once you download, you will see this Metadata Studio. So I am going to switch to the Metadata Studio. Can anyone please confirm if the screen is visible?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm assuming it's the YouTube video you're trying to share, yeah?
No, I'm sharing Reporting
item.
Metadata Studio.
Yep, in a page. Is that right, in the dashboard? And then you can see the video further down, yeah?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Yatuja, we
Great, thank
see
you.
Helix portal.
Yeah.
No, I think I need to reshare.
Okay.
Reshare.
I'm seeing your reporting studio. You've got 2 tabs open, right? One was the Helix portal, now you're on the Meta
Here.
Studio. Yeah, it's on
Now
the
you
correct
will
one
see
then.
right one.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can see.
Yeah. So I just launched Reporting Metadata Studio, and if you can see, we are on the home page of Reporting Metadata Studio. And from here, you will see different options available. So there are some prerequisites which I mentioned just now, that profile.properties and environment.properties, that the exact steps you need to follow, which are available in the documentation. Once you fill in those two properties file, which has all the remedy or Helix platform details and the Helix dashboards, tenant ID and tenant details, then you'll be able to launch this studio. And once you launch it, you will see these options. So I'll first select import from Helix dashboards. And I'll just choose incident management, which is out of the box. Till it is getting loaded, I can quickly show where are those properties file. I'm sure you can see the folder structure which I'm showing it to you, which is having environment.properties and profile.properties under it. So under BMC auth configuration, we have these two files which you have to fill in. Yeah, so at present, I can see on the right-hand side, incident management metadata view is visible. And here we can see object relationship diagram. It represents how the incident tables are related with each other. So HPD help desk and HPD associations and its relationship between them, that is visible. So on the left hand side, you will see connections. Connection here, if I go and edit this connection, here you will see connection URL, which is already configured, pre-configured. So how this is configured based on the properties file, it takes that data into consideration and the connection URL is formed. So no need to change anything here. Only you need to pass the username and password and test the connection. Once the connection is tested and it is successful, you'll be able to go ahead and hit OK. Now you're connected to the remedy server, and here you will see list of physical tables which are already part of this incident management metadata view. Now let me cover the first use case, which is about how to refer to the existing metadata view and do your changes as per your requirement. So for example, my requirement is to add one more table into the existing incident management view. Then from here, I'll be able to import the table. Once the table is imported, you'll be able to see it in the list of physical tables. And once this physical table list appears, then you can go ahead and select business model. And here, yeah, the list appeared. And right now I'm just choosing one random table just for showing the demo. But this is how you need to import the physical table. Once it is imported, yeah, it got added here. And now you want this table to be part of your business model. So under business model, I have these three sections: business tables, relationship, and business view. So under business table, again, you can right click and choose the new table. This will be appeared now. The new table will start appearing here. And now the second section is about relationships. So yeah, so this table appears. Before that, it asks you if you want to change the name of a table here, then you can as per your, so label basically and ID you can change based on the requirement you have. So once this is added as a business table, then the second section is relationship. So I'll just show what relationship we have already defined. So here between HPD help desk and HPD work log, we have added a left outer join. So there are different join types supported: left outer, right outer, and inner join. And here we have to define what keys we have to use in order to join these two tables. Also, we have a complex join functionality available wherein you can have your additional criteria defined in case required. So I'll just cancel it for now. Once you have all the relationships established, then it's time to add the categories, and under that categories, we have to add the required fields in the metadata view. So here, if you right click on the business view, you will see new category or manage categories. I'll go for manage category, and here I'll just select or I will just type in as new custom category, I will say, and I'll hit OK. You will see it is added at the end. And from new table, I will just, so I have not established any relationship between HPD help desk and this new table, but I'm just trying to add a field from this new table just for showing it, showing the demo. And once this is added, you will see the new field got added. You can save this. Once the view is saved, and if you feel that you're done with all the changes, then you have to go ahead and you have to publish this view. So you will see under file, publish to Helix dashboards. And here you will see configure tenant environment, and whatever environment is already configured, that also will appear. So I will choose this environment for now. And once you choose the environment, it will ask you with what name you want to publish this view. So I will just go ahead and say this name. I'll hit OK, and you will see now we will get a successfully published dialog that will appear on the screen. So once it is published successfully from the metadata studio, then you'll be able to consume it in the visual query builder. At the end, I'll show how the new view appeared in the visual query builder. So before that, I just want to cover how we can define calculated fields. So what you have to do, you have to just, if you want to create a new calculated field, then you have to right click on that business table, edit this business table, and from here, you have to choose add new column. And you have to just add this new column. And once this new column gets added, then over here, you can choose to add an ID or label to it. Once it is added, you can choose aggregation type, which is sum or count. Once that is done, then you can choose a return data type, which is, so usually for calculated fields, it is count, sum. If that is the case, then your data type will be numeric, as you are going to return a numeric. Then the other property which you have to fill in is field type. So for calculated field, we use fact as a field type. And here under calculation, you will have to write the actual case when statement which you want to use. Like, for example, you want to look at only open incidents, then I will add case when status is less than resolved, then say it as 1 or consider it as 1, else it is 0 count. Like this, and you have to set this flag, is the formula exact to true. Once you are done with all these things, so to just let you know about, we have certain examples in the documentation added for how to define calculation. So you have to first define name of function, then case when statement, and followed by the table name, business table name, dot business column, and the values, etc. So these all syntactical details are already mentioned in the documentation, which you will find. Once you're done, then you can hit OK and you can save this. Then another important thing which I wanted to cover, which is about, for example, on HPD help desk table, you have a customization and you have added 3 to 4 new columns as per your requirement. But now if you look at here, it will, so if you try to refer existing incident management view, it will go for all out of the box columns available under this business table. But now you are interested in having the new columns which are you have added as a custom columns in the HPD help desk. So how to add those columns? Then we have a way. So on the right click of business model, you will see refresh option available. And once you hit this refresh, you will see all the listed business tables will get updated with the new columns which you have added, which are outside of the BMC out of the box columns. And it will help you in case you want custom columns to be added as a part of your business view and want to use it in your reports. So, and also lastly, we have one more functionality available, which is when you edit business table and add data constraint property here, you can define global constraint at business table level. So for HPD help desk, if I want to have additional criteria like show me the incidents with company XYZ, then at metadata layer only, I want to have this condition added so that whenever I will use this HPD help desk table in my query, I'll use the columns from HPD help desk, then this criteria will get added in the generated query by default without report designer adds it explicitly from the visual query builder. UI. So it is getting added from the predefined global constraint property available in the metadata view. So that is what I wanted to cover. Lastly, I will show the view which got published to the Visual Query Builder. I'm switching back to the Helix
Web
dashboards
browser.
UI.
Yes.
And so from here, I'll just quickly show the new view got added. So from here, yeah. So this is what I have given as a name. And you will see this got added. And we can see custom category, which I had added, and RMS template ID, this new column, which were added as part of this custom view. So like this, now Visual Query Builder will be able to start using the custom view created. With that, I will just hand it over to Sam for taking care of the further part.
Okay, let me just get my slides up. We've only got a few to go through. And also, why I'm sharing my screen, Kashita, if it's possible, can you have a look at the questions that we've got in the chat? They're all related to Meta Studio. So for those that have asked questions, we'll try and get them answered now, but we will also be opening up for live Q&A in a few minutes. So let me just share my screen. Okay, and go into slideshow. So it was just a couple of final slides because I was unable to bring on Angela, who works in our design team. She's always looking out for any customers or partners that want to be part of the design partnership. So it's just really to kind of pitch out and say that we have this available. What it basically is a design partnership. Let me just move this out of the way. Hang on, apologies. It's a design partnership with our UX team. So UX basically work with us on any type of user experience. So they're very closely linked to our product management team. So you've got the opportunity to share, collaborate, participate, and discuss the views, what you'd like to see in the product. I feel it's a perfect opportunity at the moment, certainly with transitions for customers going from smart reporting to dashboards. There's a lot of new features that are going in. Certainly this team on here today, and also Nikhil, who was on earlier, is very keen to hear feedback from our customers. So if you are interested in signing up, there is plenty of details. I'll be sharing those post-event and also be sending a thank you email out. If you've got a phone at hand, there is an opportunity to scan this QR code and sign up, but there is also another link where it says click here. Obviously, you can't do that on this call at the moment, but I will be sharing these slides out. So we would love to hear from you. And then just for feedback for past recordings, obviously we're running these smart reporting and Helix dashboards workshops every single month. We're trying to fit in all the time zones. So this time zone today was more geared towards our American and EMEA time zone. We've got one coming up in September, which is going to be two. Actually, we've got one of them will be at APAC. So if you've got any colleagues that want to join early, or otherwise if someone is actually in that region, that will be run. I can only tell you from a UK standpoint that it's around 6 in the morning. So hopefully that will be the back end day for APAC. Then there's also some other sessions that we've done. We've got another features one coming up that Nikhil is going to be running later on in July, but these are the past ones just to share with you. And again, the new links of upcoming sessions, the one on the 10th and also one in later in September, I will share that separately for you. So I think these are the main slides that I want to share. I would like to now give the opportunity, because we've got 10 minutes or so left to go to the Q&A. So if I have a look, we've got a couple of questions. So I don't know, Kashita, if you've answered Saurabh's. I can see you were starting to type. So do you want to take Saurabh's question around JDK 17? And I'm going to now unmute everyone. So if you do want to raise your hand or put any more questions in the Q&A, we'd love to hear from you. So Kashita, do you want to take Saurabh's one as well live?
Yeah,
Masih,
the last answer, the last question, which is about,
Mhm.
can we edit these metadata view, or do we need to start from fresh if we want to add additional column in physical tables? So definitely, as I mentioned, in incident management module, for example, so metadata view already exists, which we have provided as out of the box. So out of the box view, you will not be directly able to save and publish again, but you can import that view and make your changes, additional column additions or additional table you can add and relate and add the additional columns to it. Those changes you can do it, and you can save as the own custom view, and then you can do that way. So no need to start from the scratch in case you want to uh, add just one or two columns in the existing object relationship.
Thank you, Kshita and Surab, but I have put you unmuted, so I don't know if you want to ask any further questions or if your questions have been covered in the Q&A, because I know you had a couple of questions. Feel free to talk to us live. Ah, okay, he said thank you. Okay, I think we've answered all the questions into the Q&A. Does anybody else have any questions? Otherwise, I'm happy to give back 10 minutes or so. I know it's a long time to be on a session, but the most important thing is that we can help you with your migration, and because we're running these multiple sessions, there'll be lots of Q&A that you can go and read back on, but we just want to make sure that you've got the access to the right training and the right things that you need. So when you do get your thank you email out, if it's not today, it'll be tomorrow. There will be the links to the recording, so this will go up into YouTube. There'll also be the Q&A, the slides that we've shared today, and the other will be any sessions that are coming up. I would be really keen to hear from you all if there's any sessions that you feel that would be useful. And obviously working with Nikhil, there are other stuff on dashboards that he's running. So please do give us some feedback. It will take a few minutes of your time. So I think if we don't have anything further, which it looks like we're now, people are leaving.
Hi, Shyam.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hello,
Thank you,
how are you?
Kshitija, and thank you, Abhinay, for the answer. I have one question, like in the smart reporting also we have views, right?
Yeah.
We were able to modify the view, and we were able to create the views, add the fields, and we were able to create the custom views with our criteria, and there were so many complex views were there. So this metadata studio, what is there currently, it is similar to that only?
Yeah, you can consider, yes, it is similar to that only. Only the difference I will say is in smart reporting, you have, there were, the two things are connected and on the same UI. You could able to define the view. Here we have the custom metadata view creation is separately handled in the metadata studio. And once you publish that from the studio, then Visual Query Builder will be able to consume it in Helix Dashboards UI. Only that is the difference. But yes, other capabilities we have similar capabilities available in the studio. If you have already smart reporting views created, then it will be I mean, you can refer to that and you can create relationships between the tables and all those things quickly
Okay.
by referring to that.
Okay. So as of now, there is, I mean, what I understood is that we cannot migrate those kind of reports if we have custom views created. We cannot migrate those kind of reports by using the migrator from the SR to HBD, right?
So if you want to migrate from smart reporting to Helix dashboards, and you want to use conversion tool, then you can go ahead and use conversion tool, and it will just get all the report queries from smart reporting and convert that into the individual dashboards here, because in Helix dashboard, everything is dashboard. And there is nothing like report as a concept. It is dashboard and panel. So it will create a panel in the dashboard for every report.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah.
Yeah, that I understood. But my question is, let's say I have my HPT help desk view and I have created the custom view of that one in the smart reporting.
Okay.
Let's say there were 3 to 4 join forms are there, just like you were adding one more table to the existing metadata view, right? We can do that in the smart reporting as well. So we have a complex view in the smart reporting. Will it be able to migrate by using the conversion utility from the SR to HPT?
No, through conversion tool, only report queries are migrated. But if you want custom views also to appear and to be able to use it here, then yeah, Studio is the only way. Like views, you have to recreate and go by that route.
As of now, it will be manual process only. Whatever things we have created there in SR, we have to create it manually in the HPT.
Yeah, on the view part, yes.
But in future, any plans to support in the migration utility, I mean, in the conversion utility to support those kind of things as well in the future version?
Yeah, we got such feedbacks and we are looking at the feasibility if we can do that. But currently there is at least nothing available on that front, that converting the views to the Helix dashboard.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. We've got one more, or time for one more, and it's from Barbara. Barbara is asking, is there a way to sort the priority in order? I don't know who wants to answer that. Barbara, what was it specifically to do with? I don't know if you want to come off mute.
Yes.
Hello. Hello. It could be anything.
It bugged the crap out of me in smart reports and those dashboards over there. And I noticed that on yours, it does it too. And I think if I remember correctly, when I pulled up some of the example dashboards, it did it too. But it orders the priority in alphabetical order instead of instead of going critical, high, medium, low. It goes high, critical, low, medium, which is like all screwed up, right? So when somebody looks at that, they're not expecting it to be in that order. And I don't know why all the BMC products do that, but they all do it. So and in smart reports, I had to create I think it was a calculated field to do it, and then say what order I wanted it sorted in or something. I can't remember now. It's been so long since I did it, but there was some machination I had to go through to get it to sort correctly.
Yeah, so similar way in Helix dashboard as well. I can understand your question that priority actually is a enum type of field or selection type of field in the remedy or in Helix platform, and underlying every priority value, like for critical it is 1000, and for high it is 2000, for medium it is 3000, for low it is 4000. In the backend or in the storage, actually it stores like that, the enum values
you're talking about.
Yeah, so you have to create a calculated field and use that calculated field in the order by clause so that it will appear correctly. That is feasible.
Okay. All right.
With calculator.
It sounds like I still have to go through some machinations, but okay.